Buck, come on in. Come on in. Guys. Let's just move it. Move it gently. Move it slowly. Come on in. Let's get going. It's a vibe. Yes. Woo! Welcome to the Guru Mama Show, where you never know what she's going to say. Whew! Well, there is congressional hearing. These are big words for me in the United States right now. And UFOs, on information coming out about UFOs, bringing up different whistleblowers on it. Believe it or not, that's up to you. It's going to be a very interesting. I don't think we're going to get full results for about a year or two on this. This is just sort of opening up a doorway of information coming out. I've heard things, or looked or researched things where they have where the military has worked on different holograms that they can put up into the sky to make you to believe certain things are happening at a certain time. So, could they be doing that? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just lowly old little mama sitting in her suite. So I have you ever seen a UFO? Or have you ever thought that you saw a UFO, or made you question? Have you ever seen something in the sky that has made you question, you know, and you still looked up and found, to see if it was a satellite or something else, but there was still no explanation for what it was. And for me, yeah, I have. I've seen it. Um, I've seen big ones, like big UFO sort of hovering right over our home, and it came in the form, it sort of like came in, and we thought it was sort of like a cloud formation, but just the way it came in and then the way it sort of disappeared doesn't dissipate like a cloud, that's for sure. And I've seen other sort of flashes that move weird in the sky. So, are these UFOs, or they are calling them anomalies now, or are they something else? You know, I think that's where people, I mean, but it's weird that they're bringing out all this information now. Of course, all the information that's coming out now about this kind of stuff is kind of is weird. And it's like, what is that distraction? What are they trying to move us towards thinking, or are they really trying to desensitize us? Because I mean, we are in a very desensitized world. I mean, if you saw something strange or something weird, you probably just sort of like, yeah, whatever, it's a prop, it's a movie, it's someone just being weird. Like we sort of pass it by, we don't pay any attention to it, kind of thing. So we're living in an interesting time. We have some really weird, you know, uh, I'd say energies that are coming in. This is like a Barbie world. All this information, like I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Dun, 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 dun. Don't know the rest of the words, but we're all Barbie girls. But is this Barbie world we want to live in? Right? Everywhere you look, it seems like people, institutions are using power to impose their views on others, from Christian preschools suing for, in the States for state funding, a judge in Texas who won't perform same sex marriages, and now pastors across America are now warning their flocks about the new Barbie movie, which is either LGBTQ indoctrination or a portal to demonic possessions, depending on who you ask. So I know many have said it's the most woke movie. I haven't seen it. My son was going to go see it with his girlfriend. So I haven't heard the verdict out on that. But it's just all of this different energies, right, that are coming in. And, the Barbie thing is just making it's an oversight to the other movies that are coming out, and the Oppenheimer movies, another big one, but it's quite long. The Oppenheimer movie, you really have to. brings in a lot of history and talks about the formation of the atomic bombs and the affiliations with different people coming in on that idea. So people who don't understand some of the history might get lost with it, and it might be a little bit too much for them because it is a 2 hour long movie. So this is where, when you look at, there's a lot coming down the pipeline, and a lot's coming in and going to be revealed to us all. And this is sparking, this is igniting, but there's also where I think a pop in the balloon, like all of this pressure's been building, and there's a pop, and I feel like there's a lot of steam that's being released, especially steam over the last few years. And many times we're just not thinking right, or what is the right way to be thinking. And the darker side of Aquarius is cult, right? That cult like mentality. And when Saturn was in there, we saw a very cult like mentality being formed, and I think on many levels still being formed in different ways. But this is where a lot from the past is coming up, and we have to look at where our integrity is and where we are able to stay positive within all this, because this shadow energy just comes in like a force and really is trying to force us into a belief system or into an idea that maybe we don't believe in, or it's not in that alignment for us, and we really have to understand what our integrity is. So this is why you ask questions, this is why you do your spiritual work, and your to find out where you are. Happiness, to find happiness is great, but we want to move up from the happiness, because the happiness is kind of like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm feeling good. Well, where do you move from there? You want to move into the joy, the bliss, the integrity, right? And be within that integrity, and be within that inspirational energy, and allow yourself to stand in within that inspirational energy. Because what is your own standing? What do you stand for? What do you want to stand for, right? And with Pluto squaring the nodes, this is more coming out. So more is going to be coming out of all of this, and especially when we have the south node in Libra and the north node in Aries. The dispositor for Aries is Mars, and it's in Virgo, trying to organize and get things together and get things moving, while Venus, the dispositor of Libra and of Taurus, she is very much, she's retrograde. She's trying to figure out her own thing. She's going through the bowels of hell and trying to figure out what she needs to do. So where are you in your heart, right? These are some of the questions that are coming out. And don't discredit yourself. Like, this is with the sun in Leo. The sun has the most power than anything out there right now, because it's in Leo. It's home. It's here. This is where I need to look at my needs. I need to look at what is right for me, and make sure that I'm standing in my truth and my integrity within my own self before I can start telling other people if they're to stand in their integrity in their own self. This is where we have to look at our own self, and bring ourselves out, and allow ourselves to open up within our heart and within our minds, so that we don't get lost in propaganda, the Barbie movie, UFOs, all of this, right? We even have a PM that's shuffling his caucus. It's just people, he's throwing people out left, right, and center, because he's finding nobody's supporting him. He's not having the followers he was having before. Poor widow PM. So so he needs some more people that's going to suck his ass, I guess. So let's shuffle it up, because there's going to be an election. And this is where you have to come into oneself. You have to really do that. And your journey, first, even if you're with another, this is where you have to look at what is your journey within your own life. Yes, you might have a partner or somebody else there, and that's wonderful. But there's a part of you, yes, there's an entanglement, but there's also where prioritizing what is important to you, right? So, I mean, you could take Steve loves Chinese food, I don't. If he wants to go for Chinese food, cool, but I'm not going to sit there and eat the Chinese food. I'm gonna order something else or maybe order something on there that I would enjoy eating. If we go to a food fair, it's even better because he'll go and get his stuff and I'll go and get my stuff, right? And what I go and order is not necessarily what but that's part of my journey. That's part of what I want, right? So similar. So you're still together, you're still doing your thing, but not everything you might like that the other person likes, and that's fine. So you're not trying to change yourself in some, contortionist way to appease the other person. And with the sun in Leo, like, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to be that contortionist. But on the flip side is where, you know, to go and let's say an opportunity came. Well, if an opportunity came, it'd be something that we'd both have to sit down and discuss. If a great opportunity came my way for me to speak in Europe, which is interesting if it did, what would that mean and what would that look like? I'd have to, look at all our, check out all our boxes. What does this include and everything else? And um, can he come with me? You know? So, these are some of the things. And the other thing when I bring up Europe is next year you're going to be needing visas to go to Europe as a Canadian. Yeah. So as I said, travel is going to get harder and harder. Yes, I even said to a lot of people that this is really the last year to really get out and travel if you're going to travel anywhere, if you're going to go overseas or if you're going to do any particular traveling because it's just going to get harder. And I know a lot of travel agents are going to say, well, no, it's not going to get harder. It's just you got to be more prepared. Yeah, and you got to spend out a lot more money to get that visa and get your application out there and to wait for that application, et cetera, et cetera. So there's going to be a lot more hoops to jump through in order for you to be able to travel if you're wanting to go to different countries. Unless you're a billionaire, then I don't think you have those hoops that you have to jump through. Just saying, maybe not. But things might look okay at this time. You might think, "Oh, everything's getting back to normal. Everything's going great." But are they? Things are going to go off the rail, but it's not going to be very scorpionic off the rail, but it's going to be more of a Taurus kind of off the rail, which is kind of crazier because Tauruses like to have things in a certain way at a certain time. So it's, the bull getting a little bit off the rails. So if you've ever seen a bull go off the rails, it's not a lot of fun, but because the bull in a china shop. So things might be getting off a little bit off the rails and we might be feeling it within our own life. We might be seeing it, but this is where we got to come back into our own integrity, come back into our heart and the direction of what we are wanting to create and build within ourselves. And that could be, creating a better practice for ourselves, whether it's within our spiritual, maybe it's getting ourselves more disciplined in doing something within our world that we don't normally do. So this is where the energy is, kind of like this is what we have to start looking at when we are, moving forward into this life. There goes the dog. So there's so much coming through for us. And I think we have to pay attention to the messages that are incoming. For us, there is something up for all of us about taking off the rose colored glasses, seeing people clearly, having boundaries, and having a healthy sense of self. With Venus's journey in Leo is about living from the truth of your heart. And what does it mean to live from the truth of your heart? That is different for each of us. Each of us, I can't tell you what your living your truth of your heart is. That's what you have to discover. I can help to guide you, to give you information of it. That's what my readings do, is help to guide you, to open you up to the information, and then it's up to you. It's your truth, right? So this is where you have to come into your core. So the difference, what it is for all of us, but it's about radiating from our core, being true to ourselves, and courageously and authentically and expressing ourselves from this core of truth. That's where the energy is. And sometimes it's difficult because family might have a different idea of what you should be doing. Siblings, husbands, wives, neighbors, work co-workers might have something, that thinking this is what you should be doing. But you got to come back in and come into that truth. With Venus retrograde and Mercury involved this week, it's great time to really question the areas in our lives where we are and are not living our truth, our heart truth. And we all have areas in our lives. There's no exceptions, right? So this is, where we do the things that are out of expectations, obligations, fear, safety, security, and love. And a healthy Leo wants to question these things. Unhealthy Leo can be overly self-focused, narcissistic even. But healthy Leo is a healthy selfishness. This is why I post, wanting to post, different means on how to be the best you can be, how to, get out there and shine your light and do the things that are inspirational for you. That's why I post a lot of things out there about Stonehenge and things like that, because to me, those are inspirational and I love those things, right? So today, take some time and stand in your truth. Take some time and stand in that sunlight. Allow the sun to just do some sun gazing. Allow for the sun to shine down upon you in what you're doing, and especially if you have decisions that you have to make. And open to the information that comes through. Don't dismiss some of the stuff that comes through. Make sure you have a pen, write it down, and you're going to find that it's going to help you carry forward. And if you are wanting a reading, yes, I do have readings on right now. I do have a sale on where, I'm going to just flash this on. Flashed it off. So I have readings where, one reading's $130 now, or you can buy 2 readings and 3 readings. They do come in at different prices. This is so that if you want to do any coaching sessions, so if you want to get the 3 reading package, then we can do a coaching session and we can have a session each month. And especially with Venus retrograde, this is about looking into our heart, looking into, our love life, right? And the thing that when I say love life, a lot of times we go, oh, it's romantic, it's this, but this is love life. What is that love of life that you're having, right? And that could be with somebody else, but that could be something else, right? So that's, that's part of it. And it's about, looking into your health. Venus rules things to do with your health. She's in the Taurus house. Taurus has a lot to do with the health and the health system and money. Your financial system is your health. Do you have a love of life with your financial system? Is it a healthy relationship or not? So these are the kind of questions that we look into and we ask and we bring the cards into it. So there you go. So book a reading, man. And if you can't book a reading, you can support me by buying me a coffee. So I'm starting a buy me a coffee where if you are wanting to support me, not only to fuel my caffeine addiction, but to fuel and keep the roof over the head and the lights on and keep things going so I can come here each day to you. So you can buy me a coffee. On that note, I'm going to send you guys off with so much love. I want you guys to just shine your light and have a great day. It's not a bad day, is it? No, it's pretty nice outside, right? Say hi, Matthias. There you go. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.